Hey YouTube, today we're going to change a chain on this track. I have this tool here. It's a little bent, so it's not completely accurate, but it basically fits in here like this. And if it goes in the hole, and you can see it on the other side, it's time for a new chain. We're at just short of 2,000 miles, and this chain is not an e-bike chain on here. It's an e-bike, but it doesn't have an e-bike chain. Trek saves some money, I guess. This one shows it at the end of its life too. And this is a Chain Checker CC one. I've had this for 30 years at least. So we have our link here. Now I bought this tool we'll see how well it works. So we're not worried about this. Chain breaker came with a chain hanger so you can put your chain together, but we're not worried about that because we're taking the chain apart. If I can get my hands to work with me. That's that way. We need to go. Oh, come on. Well, I guess we're gonna have to use the wire because it's got enough tension on it that it's a problem. End up with all greasy hands too. So this chain tool came with this wire, and the idea is you put it on here and you hang it so that you're taking the chain tension off. Where your link is. That's a nasty rag. Some of the things I've noticed is the chain has gotten noisy. So let's see if I can get it. In the past, I just used anything I could to get this thing off. Screwdriver, whatever you want to use. And that was that. So, but for some reason, it just broke that link. It didn't actually take it off. But for our purposes, we don't need it. We're going to just go ahead and let this chain fall off. We need to measure the chain so we can, to make sure that we've got enough chain. Now the chain fell off the chain ring. And this is what's wrong with this biker stand is that it's hard to get it so you can pedal. You know, I'm gonna probably end up having to take this off anyway. This chain guard, because it's so dirty behind there. I'm thinking that it's gumming up the chain. So Well, while we're here, let me see where that tool is. Hoping it's in my bag here, so I don't see it over there anywhere. I don't see it here. Well, I guess I'll pause you until I can find out what I'm looking for. Hey there. So I took the crank arm off, and I used a Park CCP 22. You're going to want to put a little grease on here to make this easier to on the end of the tool. I put a little grease on there so that when it interfaces with the front of the bottom bracket, it doesn't screw it up. These are spline drive. You see, I don't know if you can, how well you see that, but it's a spline drive. So, and I had to do that because I need to take the chain guard off. I thought that there was probably going to be an issue with taking this apart. Okay, stay there. So this chain guard, there's a lot of people out there that say that this is the first thing they get rid of because of how hard it is to deal with if you, for example, have to change your chain. So in this case, we're taking it off because the chain jammed up behind the there's a metal piece here, and I need to really clean this. So what a pain in the butt. Gotta get this out of here somehow. So I think we'll just run it. Look at all the stuff built up on that chain ring. Now I gotta wipe my hands off a little bit. Wipe this bike off. I'm not going to use this to wipe that off, but there's a lock ring here. This is lock ring holds this on. So if you need to take your chain guard completely off, good luck. You're gonna have to take that lock ring off. And I have a lock ring removal tool, but I don't think I need to take it off. It would just create more work. You can just wipe most of this gunk off. But if you change your chain and you don't get this clean first, or reasonable clean, you're going to end up just transferring muck to the over to the new chain. So you could use a degreaser, water-based degreaser for this, but don't use a solvent-based. The motor is sealed, but it ain't sealed that well. The last time I tried to take this off, I did not put no grease on the end of that deal, and I was like worried I was going to damage something, so I did not do much. I didn't want to. I wanted to make sure I was using the right tool, so I went on Bosch's repair site, and yep, they said that's the appropriate tool. So that's about as good as I'm gonna get. And wipe off the inside of this. And we're gonna leave it off until we get the chain on. Now, I need to measure this chain, and keep in mind that that it's going to be 3/4 of a you know what, I bought an e-bike chain, and it looks to me like this is just a regular bike chain. So I probably spent way more money than I needed to. Oh, your chain is shadowed, but what we're going to measure is the total length with just a regular tape measure. 12 lengths per inch. We'll just spread it out and lock the chain. Even with that, 60 inches. So 5 times 12. Now that ain't right. Oh, times 2. So we need it's like normal size chain. And they told me at the bike shop I needed 136, so I have a lot of extra chain, I think. Because I think this is going to end up being 120. The chains come with instructions and new. We're going to see how long this chain is compared to that one. This is, they call this is 136 lengths. You need to make sure that it's straight. And we have an extra length. Oh. So we need to measure it from there. And we need to end right there. So we're gonna bust it right here. Let me turn you back around. So, of course, the bike shop told me 136 136 links, and we're nowhere near this. This is a normal length chain. I didn't want to bust the chain before I had to. Well, I'm looking around for my chain tool that I also bought, but all I see is there it is. So we're gonna bust it right there. Well, we're gonna measure again. It's better to measure twice than to end up have to try to replace it. And if you screw this up, you've wasted a chain, because you really shouldn't use two lengths. Two links in the chain. So got it right where we need it. I'm trying this because this came as a set, so I thought I would try and see how this chain breaker works before I recommend it. Where did that dirt come from? Got a big old chunk of dirt on me. Okay. So this is, they tried to make one chain do, one breaker do two jobs, so. That sounded like the handle breaking, but it wasn't. It was the chain coming out. I should have went one longer, but so let me turn you a little bit. So we need two matching ends in order to join the chain with the new pins. I mean the new and you don't need a tool to put the chain together, and you really don't need a chain tool to take it apart. But I thought I'd try it. It can be stubborn when you're doing this. Let's turn you a little bit more so you can see the bike. Now, we've got our chain here. This is the extra length, so we've got 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 lengths. So we can deduce that a normal chain would fit on here. Now we want to make sure our jockey wheels are clean at this time too. Jockey wheels, G wheels. Shimano does not call it they call it anything else other than wheels. Jockey wheels, chain wheels. They do not call it gear. They call these wheels. So we had a lot of crap back there. Looks like a leaf. Oh, it's cotton there. That's one of the things that happens when you're out riding. In the fall, is you end up with stuff in the so we're gonna go through here. On the smallest gear. That's the smallest. This is a nasty, dirty job. There's just no other way to put it. I mean, these chains come with a coating on them, so keep that in mind. And when you're these are I gotta go find something to help me wipe my hands off. Okay, a little better, but not much better. These are called narrow wide chains on this bike. Of course, I forget to make sure there's no knots in the chain, because otherwise you end up with a knot. Okay, now here's where our hanger's going to help us a little bit. We can put it in the link before the one we need to join, and then we can, it's actually supposed to go the other way. Just call me Mr. Fumbly Finger. So now we have our links here, and they basically put one. You need to there's a hole for this to go in, and there's a hole on this side for it to go in. So we need one this way and one this way. So now this is supposedly where the pliers will come in handy. Just out of the way a little bit more. So you put them in the big holes, and you're supposed to be able to put these in two joint in the narrow space on both sides of this link and spread them out. And you hear a snap. If you hear that snap, then you know you got it on right. So it's a little loose, but I know I made it one length shorter than it was, but we're good. We still have tension on our derailleur. Now put this back on. After we cleaned it a little bit. We got 3 screws, 3 Phillips head screws to put back on. We'll start right here. Don't tighten them up, just get them started. Because you may have an alignment issue. Now you could buy a different chain guard if you want to. You can get rid of this chain guard altogether, but like I said, you're going to have to have that lock ring remover to get it the back side of this chain guard off. Where'd that hole go to? bike on its handlebars. Box bugs. Sprayed for them today, and who knows? Don't look like they died any. I'm going to get it in a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and put the crank arm back on. So, the crank arm is an 8mm, and it needs to go 180 degrees off from your other crank arm. But before I tighten this all the way down, I'm going to make sure it's right. I'm just going to start this, get the bike off the stand here. Nope, it ain't right. No. Now it's one tooth off. Oh, come on. I just barely put it on there. It, this rack, I don't think I can't recommend it. It doesn't have a long enough arm on it to get it away from. Yeah, we're good. And long enough arm to get it away from the so you can pedal and check your shifting. So you tighten this down until you get it good and tight, as the Germans would say. Okay. And then we'll use our tool. It doesn't go in it at all, so that's tool to measure chain wear. I got just short of 2,000 miles. I think I don't have my battery on the bike, so I can't really look. Last time I looked, it was like 264. So now, if you find that you get your chain on your bike and it's too long, then you need to take 2 links out. And this one looks good. I did take, I can't take any more out, because if I do, it'll have problems shifting. Nice and quiet again. And that was one of the things that I noticed right away, was that I had a really noisy shift chain. Every time it went around, I could hear the chain hitting something. So as it wears, they get a little looser, and you start having problems with noise. Keep that in mind. So the chain tool works great for setting it, not so much for taking it off, but man. So I'll point it to me here in a second and talk about so the chain, you don't, if you can so you really don't need that long of a chain, so keep that in mind. I'm going to get you a little closer here as soon as I finish putting this back together. The chain tool, this chain tool worked awesome. I was surprised. Usually the cheap ones don't work very well. They work usually. I'm not going to tell you they don't. But what usually ends up happening is you end up breaking the handles the first time. And that snapping noise that you heard when I was using it was the pin being pushed through the plate. So I bought these on Amazon, and it came with extra links for 8, 9, and 10 speed chains. So, but the chains always come with a link, at least almost universally. So I had 15 extra, so technically this makes this 120 links. And if you want to buy it by the foot, and you can buy it by the foot, it's $5 a foot, or I mean $4 a foot on those sites that sell bulk chain. So keep that in mind. $5, a foot for $4. You can buy that X9 chain for 20 bucks by the foot. Then you need a link, because when you buy it by the foot, they're not going to include a power link. So keep that in mind if you're doing that. And I know you guys probably haven't ever seen the bike without the battery, but I take the battery off now and charge it in the house. So it has this track comes with I gotta find the other screw now. It's on the ground somewhere. Try to get that in. It comes with a German lock. It's from a German company. You can buy with the key. You can go to your Trek dealer and buy a bike lock that you use the same key. A bunch of lock options for that. So you need 5 feet of chain, keep that in mind. I would buy it by the foot. It's cheaper than buying the chain set. You can buy a link for a couple bucks, and 5 feet of chain is 20 bucks, so you can get by really cheap. This, like I said, wasn't an e-bike chain on the bike, but it lasted 2,000 miles, which I would consider reasonable. The one on my electric lasted 1,500 miles, and it was way wore out when I changed it. So keep that in mind. Don't go overboard when you tighten this down. Just get it tight enough to be, and then check it after you ride one time and make sure that it's still tight. Clean your chain ring, otherwise you're just going to be transferring that goopy grease crap or wax to the chain. But that being said, I know it's a long video, but I couldn't find one on YouTube for this bike, so that's why I did it. If you have any questions about the chain, which chain I'm using, the tools, I'll link, and have a great day.